my mission is something quite general. It's to enjoy and live life to its fullest potential. When we are trying to improve people's social conditions in any place around the world, it's gonna have a cost. Entrepreneurs ask why not. So where a lot of people say this is not possible, an entrepreneur asks that question. Why not?
Hello, fellow change makers. I am excited to have you join us today on another episode of ThinkPod. My name is Yemi Butterman, and if you are passionate about impact entrepreneurship, social change, and the art of turning visionary ideas into tangible reality, you are in for a treat. Because our guest today is a true trailblazer in the world of impact entrepreneurship. And we're about to embark on a journey of insight and inspiration. Why impact entrepreneurship? And how is it even important in creating social change? I have with me Verneri Välimaa, one of the visionary minds behind Wicked Helsinki, which is a vibrant community of people advocating for impact entrepreneurship. Verneri, thank you for joining us on ThinkPod. It's nice to have you.
Thanks for having me, Yemi.
Okay, so I really want to dive in quick. But first, I always kind of like want to learn about people's journey first, because I have realized in my own kind of experience that from the journey in life, it gets to a point where that's sort of a moment where you're like, okay, there is a bigger mission to kind of like pursue. So can you tell me about your mission and probably share your journey into the realm of impact entrepreneurship? How did we get there?
I would start off by that I approach myself as a whole human being, not just an impact entrepreneur, or I don't label myself by what I do. So my mission is something quite general. It's to enjoy and live life to its fullest potential, connect with people, and be of positive service to humanity. And I think that's probably where the impact bug comes from.
Well, thank you. So I believe that you used to be a footballer? Did you played professional football?
Yeah.
And now you create events within the entrepreneurship ecosystem. So tell me, at what point in your journey did that sort of like change, moving from like, okay, playing football then into getting...
I think journey is a really good analogy for how life goes. And I'm definitely still on that journey, and I'm not certain where it's going. I know a direction where I'm going, but we really never really know where we're going to end up doing. At least that's the way that I approach things, with an open mind. So I think that I came across a fork in the road a few times in my life, where you take a different direction. It's true. My first love, I call it, is football, soccer. So yeah, the European kind, where we just had the women's World Cup was just playing, and have to congratulate Spain for winning.
Right.
Anyway, that was, yeah, since I was 5 years old, I decided that I wanted to play football, and at 12, I decided that I want to play professionally. So that took up, most of my free time and any time that I had outside of school during my upbringing, and it really shaped me as a person. So a lot of the lessons that I take from football have carried me throughout my life, also into entrepreneurship. So it was during my sixth season when I was playing that I decided that I wanted to start transitioning out of football, because it wasn't fulfilling me the way that I hoped that it would. I think I had maybe reached a point where the upside wasn't enough for me to keep going. I realized, maybe I won't play for Manchester United or Arsenal, because that's the dream that everybody has. But we have to be honest that not everybody has that kind of fairy tale story. So that was my story, and I decided to start a company with one of my ex teammates, which we started doing completely digitally, doing social media marketing, helping athletes, other influencers to succeed with their business and their brand by leveraging social media.
What was that about? What was the company?
Yeah, it was a company called Them Connect, and we were doing social media marketing for brands and influencers.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
and then we got a few early clients, and I thought, this is a great idea, and at the same time, I thought, hey, kind of now or never, So I went fully in. So I took a deep dive, just like we're gonna take a deep dive.
Yeah.
I took a deep dive into an unknown territory. Football's the thing that I knew. It was comfortable. I could keep doing that, but I thought that I want to take a risk, And then I ended up ending that season before it finished. So I basically took a early leave of absence and pursued that company in Miami.
That's interesting. And I'm kind of like, I'm certain that those are the kind of experiences that we transfer into new pursuits that we go into, later on, which I think is a great thing. I myself played football.
Yeah.
Like
what position?
I used to play in the middle, so I played 4.
Oh yeah.
So I was a midfielder. Although I didn't play as much as you played as a pro, traveling around, but I played a lot in high school, in the university. I even kind of like, I also had my own fantasy about, I'm going to play football, professionally, but it just didn't happen. But it's remained, it's my first love ever. Every time I have the opportunity to delve into it again, I'm always like open to kind of like kick some balls, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. I love football for the stamina that it gives you, and it helps you.
I love that it is a universal sport, universal language,
yes.
that you can connect with so many different cultures. And I think that's something that I really gravitated towards.
Yes.
What were you, defensive or attacking?
No, so I was a defensive midfielder.
Okay. I was attacking midfield. So.
Yeah. Oh, you were.
Yeah, you would have been.
I'm not gonna let you go.
Yeah, you would have been helping me to. Let me do what I want.
Yeah, that would have been amazing if we were to play in the same team. You would be the striker, and I would be playing your defensive midfielder and kind of like guiding and providing you the necessary passes you would need to score.
And I would be defending as much as I can from the front.
Yes.
And helping us get into good positions. So
yes,
it's a team game.
Yeah, it's a team game. That's really interesting. Okay, so I want to get into Wicked Helsinki. What is that? Wicked Helsinki. What exactly, if in your own words, because I know you are one of the minds that is driving the ship of Wicked Helsinki. Could you tell the audience what that is about? I know it focuses on impact entrepreneurship, but I like to hear it from you.
It's a great question, and we have been quite careful about defining it so solidly, because we want to allow it to evolve and to develop into whatever it needs to be. So we need solutions for global problems. We need different type of people from different type of backgrounds, upbringings, socioeconomic classes, whatever it is, to have the agency to go and pursue turning their ideas into successful ventures, or realizing that, you know, building a startup or a company is not the best way to solve this issue. So, in short, Wicked Helsinki is a community of people who want to take action to make the world a better place. And impact entrepreneurship is our the thing that we focus on building the capabilities for in Helsinki. So we understand that some of the problems that we want to solve, because that's where it comes from that we see we want to, you know, if someone is feeling hunger, or, you know, some people don't have a roof over their head, that's the problem we see and we want to solve it. Okay. The solution might be a policy change, right? So we don't discount that these types of ideas will come out too, for policy, for a movement, for you know, maybe we need to do a protest. I don't know. But this is the place where those ideas can be generated, and they can grow to get, like, basically through having interactions with other entrepreneurs and other people who are you know, taking action. So in that way, it's the cliche, bringing like-minded people together, right?
Right.
But at the same time, I want to bring non-like-minded people. We want to bring, you know, people that traditionally are not getting into entrepreneurship for whatever reason, whatever reason that may be, to contribute and to contribute to the hive mind and the collective intelligence that a community can have, because then we can come up with new innovations and perhaps better ones,
right?
And yes, so that's what we're focusing on.
Right. I think I like the style of bringing like-minded people together with people who you won't see as like-minded, in sense of whether they've been entrepreneurs before or not entrepreneurs, but they always have something new.
Yes, I mean, and the red thread is why I'm so general with the way I talk. I mean, it's people that want to make the world a better place and take action to do that. So those are, you know, you can think of many people doing that. There's activists, there's politicians, there's you know, researchers, scientists. So, but many people, or artists, whatever, so they might be entrepreneurship might be foreign concept for them, something that they're not feel comfortable doing, or that it's not for them. And also, it's not like we won't have very clear metrics as an organization about like how to measure our success. It's not like we live in like, at least personally, I don't think I live in that much of a fantasy where these things don't need to work economically sustainably. They need to, and I also understand that we need to get to a point where we have these clear metrics and we are actually producing something, but we're not at that point now. Right now, we're at the point where we are molding, or it is molding, it is forming on its own, and it's an ecosystem. You can't go and you have to let an ecosystem grow, and develop into whatever it needs to be.
Yeah, that's true.
And keeping the eye on the target, on the goal. Yeah.
This is interesting because every idea needs time for it to be nurtured, and then it grows. As long as you keep an eye on which direction in which you're going and what the entire, like somebody who I learned from would say that no matter which direction in which you're going, don't ever forget why you started. And I think the why usually sort of like determine what goal you're going after. Okay, so I want to kind of like ask one question that is kind of that I thought about. So I'm thinking about how do we shape a thriving world that every one of us can feel comfortable living in. And on your website, there is this idea that Wicked Helsinki envisions such a world, a thriving world that guarantees social foundations for all within the living means of the planet. I want you to expand on that vision. In your view, is developing entrepreneurial spirits crucial for achieving that vision? Yeah.
So a thriving world which guarantees social foundations for all within the living means of the planet. Yes. That's the North Star. That's what we're working towards. So we keep that in mind when we make decisions. I think that's important for an organization to have. It's borrowed in a way from Kate Raworth, who's the creator of donut economic. Well, donut economics. I guess you can call it an idea for now, but it's actually a concept that is being practiced in many places around the world. Which suggests that we should that an economic system should aim not to only continue growing infinitely in terms of whatever metric you want to use. Generally, the metric we use is GDP. So just if that's the only target, then we're gonna maybe end up with a lot of things that we don't want. But if we instead shift it and think about and start it from, how do we guarantee social foundations for everyone within the living means of the planet? Because we need to understand that when we are trying to improve people's social conditions in any place around the world, it's gonna have a cost for the planet. And we live on a finite planet. That's news within the economics discipline. Yeah. I studied economics in university as well at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Yeah. There we have assumed that the planet has finite resources, when indeed it doesn't. There's many different planetary boundaries, and right now there's a big focus on carbon emissions, but there's 9 planetary boundaries. So when I say the living means within the living means of the planet, it means within those planetary boundaries. 9 planetary boundaries.
We were talking about developing entrepreneurial spirit, and I wanted to understand whether that is very important to the journey of Wicked Helsinki. And if that is important, then how do we rethink the social foundations that are necessary for this spirit, for this entrepreneurial spirit to kind of like, improve and help us, provide more meaning to the cause of social change that we are talking about. Yeah.
We focus on building entrepreneurial spirit, or at least this is how we communicate outwards, because we want to be an inclusive community that people that, even if they don't maybe want to start a business or build a company, they can still be part of the Wicked Helsinki community and apply entrepreneurial spirit in whatever form feels the most comfortable for them, or how they can be effective in solving these social issues. So that means, taking action. You can do that in so many ways, not just by building a company. As I mentioned earlier, you can come up with different policies. You can do social innovations. You can do entrepreneurship inside of a corporation. But the entrepreneurial spirit in its essence is, taking action. And entrepreneurs ask, why not? So where a lot of people say, this is not possible, an entrepreneur asks that question, why not? And once you ask that question, then you start coming up with an actual solution that works. And this is also an observation into how the world has been shaped over the last 40, 50 years. So companies that have been born over the last 40, 50 years, thanks to entrepreneurial ecosystem, like your Apples and Facebooks and Amazons and Googles, they have shaped our world. So why we can't apply that same kind of, ambition and other entrepreneurial characteristics into creating other kind of solutions?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? spoken like a true entrepreneur.
Yeah, why not?
And it's really important.
Right.
I think people can be entrepreneurial in their social life.
Yes.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. Whatever question you want to ask yourself, I want to become good at cooking, why not? So that gives people a sense of ownership as well. So I've observed, and I think many people have, and it's also been shown in surveys and whatnot, that people don't feel entirely that the traditional approaches to doing social change, i.e. Voting or strapping yourself to a tree, is not, it has not been effective in reaching that that North Star, which is guaranteeing social foundations for all within. So in that we have not been successful. So having an entrepreneurial spirit now gives you the ownership to do something about it. Because if you see a problem or you see problems and you want them to change, but you feel that you can't do anything about it, that's what is a lack of agency.
Yeah.
So this gives people agency. You can take something into your own hands. It doesn't mean you're going to solve it, but at the end of the day,
it's actually trying that.
Yeah, and it's personal development. Let's be honest. You're taking ownership of your life and something, some idea, some project,
And you can even take such idea and take it into a community that can actually support such idea and help that idea to flourish. Usually.
Yeah. And I want to stress a lot, like also for people that Wicked Helsinki is. If you don't feel that that entrepreneurship is for you, it might be. It might just be that
you just not know.
It might just be that you have a certain bias of what it is or whatever it is, and at the same time, it might be that building the company is not the best way to do the solution, as I said earlier. So it might be that it might happen that your idea becomes a social movement or some form of activism, but it's been birthed because of entrepreneurial spirit. So there's also this sense of that we are developing something. You start with an idea. It's not even a seed yet. You just come with an idea and then you cultivate it, just like something growing in nature.
So I want to ask you one question that I thought about when you were talking about entrepreneurial spirit. So let's imagine that that entrepreneurial spirit is a person. So what two qualities, or what two superpowers would this person possess in order to drive success? That you would kind of like think of to say these two superpowers are what define that true entrepreneurial spirit in your own perspective.
Can you expand a bit or clarify what you mean by success?
Yeah, so I mean, success is something that it varies, right?
And it changes, right?
It changes, right? So there is no single way to define success.
Right.
It depends on what goal you set for yourself. If I wake up this morning and my goal is to lay my bed before I leave home, and I get to do that, that's for me success, right?
Yeah.
In terms of entrepreneurial spirit, let's imagine that entrepreneurial spirit to be a person. And we know that as a person, people have qualities, they have ways that they think, they have strategies that they use, and, all those kind of stuff. Even if it's about putting my bed, I still have to think of strategy to use, how I want to lay it and stuff like that. What are the two unique qualities that, in a way, you would say shapes an entrepreneurial mind, that you think that being an entrepreneur, these two qualities are usually kind of like very important?
Entrepreneur or impact entrepreneur?
Yeah, impact entrepreneur.
Well, I think seeing into the future would be a great superpower. But I would like to focus rather on things that are, and I think that's what you mean by the things that are like, possible to develop. I'm never going to know into the future. I'm not going to know, what's going to, what natural disaster is going to happen.
Yeah, but vision is also good.
Vision is good.
Yeah.
Vision is good. But yeah. Exactly. If you can see, but there's always a margin of error, right?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
And margin of error can look small, but it can end up being huge.
For sure.
I can imagine. So I would say that unique for impact entrepreneurs. I'm sure there's tons of them, and I'm sure that if you ask me in a year, I'll probably have some different answer. But today it feels like emotional intelligence,
Right.
and sisu.
Resilience.
It's not quite resilient.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
We can talk about sisu, but I think those two things are unique for impact entrepreneurs, and also when you and of course all the other qualities that go into building a business, but the person, right? So first it's a journey to be an impact entrepreneur or an entrepreneur in general. So armed with emotional intelligence, you can have, I think you can feel, first of all, empathy towards problems that maybe don't affect you directly. So I might not be feeling hunger, but someone is. Yeah. I need to be empathetic to even feel that, and then to do something about it. So I think that's really important, and I think that it could probably help to come up with more ideas. Maybe I fail with this startup, and then I do another one. Also, I think just for team building and culture, I think that emotional intelligence is super important, and I think it's something that's kind of been, let's say, it's taken a back seat to Mr. IQ.
Yeah, right.
But we should give yeah.
I think emotional intelligence is a powerful quality that anyone should have.
Yeah,
because I'm sure there are times when it feels like your spirit is being broken and crushed, and you're so overwhelmed by a lot of feelings that are going on.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So I think impact entrepreneurs are also, they have so much skin in the game, just like an entrepreneur has so much skin in the game. It might be their time, their financials, their life, they're sacrificing. Impact entrepreneurs are doing all the same things, but then they also deeply care about some issues. So imagine the only thing you want to do is, stop hunger, but then you fail with your company. It's like, oh man, I failed as an entrepreneur, and I failed as a person to meet this. So anyway, I think that's to be able to handle those emotions is really important. And I think that also just for leading any group of people, I think emotional intelligence is probably one of the most important qualities. And when we talk about impact, I think also that the solutions don't come from vacuums. What I mean by that is that I think that the most impactful solutions will come from people from different type of backgrounds, different expertise, different field of study, whatever it is, different kind of focuses, coming together around some idea and creating something, right. Together, rather than one person maybe who doesn't know something about a specific topic, but sees that here there's a big opportunity here. The traditional two guys go to a bar and think of an idea. Yeah. That is ripe for being a vacuum.
Right.
That those two people might think a lot of the same things, but we want to bring in all of the other perspectives and mindsets and divergences that we have. And then And then sisu. Well, I feel like that's just helpful for. Sisu is just helpful for anything, but
is there an English word for that?
No, there's no direct translation. It's loosely something like resilience and like maybe some warrior like mentality. Courage, yeah,
boldness,
exactly. Somewhere around there, but that forms a Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, right.
Sisu is in the middle, so no, I'm just like glorifying Finland, but I think that sisu is important for impact entrepreneurship because you are up against it all. I think entrepreneurs are it's already really hard, and then you're trying to actually change something, and then you're going against the status quo so much in a way that you're gonna get like someone is gonna judge you. I guess that's gonna happen either way. But as a impact entrepreneur, you need to have that resilience and courage to keep going, right, even if there's no one that believes in what you're doing.
Okay, so I want to quickly rush on some questions. So we're talking about bringing diverse perspectives, bringing diverse mindsets, and together. And I know that Wicked Helsinki is trying to position itself as a global hub, specifically for impact entrepreneurs and all of that. So I want you to just, in a nutshell, if you can elaborate on the significance of sort of like building that global hub that can bring in all these perspectives and diverse, individual insights together within the same sort of group. Can you just shed a little light on that so that I can understand?
I don't think there's anything more powerful than a group of people coming around an idea that everyone really strongly believes in. So just that energy alone. I don't mean to sound like a hippie or anything, but there's an energy when you go into a room and you get inspired.
Right.
Yeah, and it's not automatic. Even if you get people into the same place, but it happens through exchanging. So if you're exchanging ideas, best practices, you can save a lot of time, you can save a lot of energy, you can save a lot of resources if you're learning from each other. And then, having all of those resources really close to you. So, if someone gives me an introduction to a person, or they help me by saying, oh, you should look for more information here, I might have saved a week on my startup.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important.
All right. So lastly, I want to ask you if you have any message you would like to share with our aspiring impact entrepreneurs who probably are like looking up to you now as someone who is already in the journey, in the game, and they are aspiring to, of course, become an impact entrepreneur, and they are passionate about driving positive social change. What would be your last message to them?
Well, yeah, I don't know if I'm if I would say that I'm the person to look up to, but I think that I'm with you, at least. And my message would be that you're not alone. So that's yeah. There's other people who are passionate about making the world a better place.
Well, that's a powerful way to actually end this conversation. Verneri, thank you so much for coming on ThinkPod. And I think that you've been able to offer fresh perspectives to some of the questions that are deep-seated in the minds of people, especially with regards to impact entrepreneurship. And hopefully we would get to see you again and see what new messages and new lessons that we would need to learn in order to improve our lives and make a difference in the world. So thank you for coming around on ThinkPod.
Thank you, Yemi. It was a real pleasure, and love what you guys are doing with Think Company.
Thank you. Okay, to our listeners, I hope you've had a great time listening to insights and lessons, and hopefully you would join us on another exciting episode again when we come on ThinkPod. If you enjoy the conversations that I've had with Verneri, please subscribe and give us a like and hit the subscribe button, and keep following ThinkPod.